Hi, my name is Shay. Welcome back to Shay's Corner. Today I kind of wanted to talk about how I chose my name. Now, not every trans or non-binary gender questioning person chooses a different name. Maybe they like the name that their parents gave them at birth. Maybe they just don't want to change it at all. Obviously, a lot of trans and non-binary people that transition do tend to change their names because it can be dysphoria-inducing. Some people, let's say if they're FDM, female to male transgender, and their name is, I don't know, Sarah, they would rather be called Sean, for example. Some non-binary people prefer to go with maybe a neutral sounding name, say like Ash or Alex, but it's not a requirement. There is no requirement you have to change your name to be valid as transgender and non-binary. But I wanted to personally talk about like how I chose my name. When picking or choosing a new name to the one you were assigned at birth, a lot of people, trans people I've noticed, either go through baby name generators or they ask their parents, you know, what would you have called me if I was born this way? There's no wrong or right way. There's no, specific way. Some people just ask other people to name them. A lot of people I've seen do that. They ask, what do I look like? Or they ask friends and family members, what would you think I would be if you didn't know me as this? I knew personally for myself that I wanted to have something that was more gender neutral. I knew I wanted to keep the first letter of my birth name. I asked my mom, like, what would you have called me if I was a boy, or what were you thinking of, like, other names in general? And it was kind of funny because apparently my mom wanted to call my brother Shay, but my dad said absolutely not. It sounds too much like a poof, i.e. it sounds too gay. It sounds like too much of a gay name, he'll be bullied. And after that, I was like, that is my name, 100%. You were gonna call me this if my brother had been born first and my dad thought it was too gay. That is hilarious. So I asked about the spelling, because the spelling of Shay, there are so many different spellings, S-H-A-I, S-H-A-E. I did not want to be like Shea Butter. Like, I didn't want to be that. So I was like, what was the spelling? And she said S-H-A-Y, so S-H-A-Y it was. Only one of my friends was like, it sounds more feminine than your birth name. And I'm like, I disagree. I disagree strongly. Shay is gender neutral in my eyes. It is a gender neutral name. You can have guys and girls and non-binary and whoever. So it's what I'm comfortable with. And it's one syllable. I don't want to get into it completely, but like my entire life, pretty much people have butchered my birth name. Either pronounced it wrong, said it wrong. We all know when your name is a bit more ethnic that your pronunciation of your name gets butchered and have to keep going on about, no, this is how you say my name. And I was like, you can't mess up one syllable, even though people have messed up my name, Shay. But like, it's a lot easier to not mess that up. My only regret is I was thinking maybe, I don't know if it's Shay too white sounding. I don't know. Half of me is like, maybe I should have put something that was more black or Indian or even closer to my birth name, but I still think it's close to my birth name anyway. You should never feel pressured to pick a name, and you should never be ashamed of your name as well, especially my friend Ism Razan. I'm always like, no, say your name properly. Don't shorten it for other people. Never negate your name just because people find it too hard to say or pronounce. I'm very happy with Shay. I've been going by Shay since I was 18. Since, what's that, 2016, 4 years now, and I'm pretty happy with it. Also, you have to realize for some people, names are really important. There may be a religious or a cultural element behind it. It could be really important to family, legacy, generations, ancestors. But then for other people, it's like it doesn't mean that much. It's just a sound that people use to refer to you. It's something that they could have just picked out of a hat, or they just made a decision that day to name themselves. Also, not just trans and non-binary people change their names, cis people change their names all the time, and not just for marriage. Maybe they don't like the sound of their name, or maybe they want a different one. Something that I haven't seen that a lot, and I'm not sure when I'm going to release this, but I'm not sure if the video me and Ism did together got released first, but when we were talking about slave names, I was just thinking, I think I've only known 2 trans people that have changed their name and their last name, or thought about changing their last name as well as their first name, because they had a slave name and they didn't want to have that last name anymore. Plenty of obviously cis black people change their last name because of that reason, but I think I've only ever come across, like I said, 1 or 2 or 3 black trans people, and I feel like that'd be a really interesting conversation to have, because people change their names for a multitude of reasons, obviously, and not just for marriage, but I haven't seen much of a conversation when people change their names because of not wanting to identify with having a slave owner's last name. Me personally, I'm fine with it, but I know a few people that are absolutely not fine with it. So when they're changing their first name, they're like, oh, why don't we change our last name as well? But that is not something I want to get into in this video. I'm focusing mainly on how I chose my name and names in general. Everyone's importance to their name is to their own. Some people are really connected to it, others don't really mind it. Maybe they can change their name on a weekly, I don't know. Me personally, I'm fine with Shay. I've been really happy with Shay and I'm going to continue to be Shay. And that is my name.